You know, if you're a guy who anticipates or sees yourself as a day one starter, then I hope you enjoy the pressure. If you don't necessarily see yourself in that boat right now, okay, you should see this as a chance to come in and play a little bit more right from the jump. I still feel pretty good about what we've got, even if it's only 18 or 19 deep. We're going to make the best of it. Okay? But like we said, this week is a lot of getting you ready to play. Because I don't know if it's hit you yet, but a week from tomorrow, we're getting on the bus. As long as we got enough guys to play, like, we're getting on a bus next Tuesday against a good public school 4A team on turf. And you guys you're going to have to grow up fast, man. So one clap on three, then we're up on these. Comes right there. All right, let's go. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, read it.
One clap on three. 1, 2, 3. You still not there. Hold on, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh.
Good save! Go, Mustafa. That's fine.
Okay, my name is Nayland Judge. I've been here since 8th grade. So I've been playing soccer for 3 years now because COVID cut out one. The position I normally play is center defensive mid or right mid, left mid.
Yeah, get in.
Well, what I expect from the team is for us to put in our 100% effort every practice, every game, no matter what. If we're not feeling well, we still put in the same amount of effort even if we felt 100%. My goal this year is to win state. I definitely think it's possible. I'm not nervous to go against any team, but I am excited to see Cardinal Newman again this year because we don't have a good record against Cardinal Newman. We normally don't beat them, but this year I'm really excited to play them.
Pablo. It's fine.
That was discouraging, only because you have more to give than just what we just showed. I was just talking with these guys about it. There's a level that I have to be fair to you guys, because when I think about how this team is going to be gauged and the shoulders that's going to fall on, the vast majority of those guys aren't here right now. Like, we literally took a peek over and kind of looked at who was sitting over on the bench. And while Nayland was over there, okay, Charlie's doing senior X, Reed's at senior X, Spence is out hurt, Rob's out hurt, Ryan's out hurt, Will's at basketball, Max is at basketball. It's like, I mean, that's a lot of the core of our team. So for me to be thoroughly upset with you guys about not understanding the level of what practice is supposed to look like, or understanding we don't have time in a game to repeat ourselves time and time and time and time again about what the rules are, what the drill is, what the expectations are. Like, I want to be as fair as I possibly can with you guys about not putting you in a situation where you're going to immediately fail. I wouldn't keep you here if that was the role you were going to be. And I mean that truthfully. Like, I would have an honest, serious conversation. If you were a JV player, I'd tell you, hey, let's look at playing JV because I think that's best for your development. If you were an older player, we would have a serious conversation about, hey, this is the level I need you to bring in order to help this team. But everybody that's still here right now has a kind of role where it's like, hey, guys, there's a real chance we're going to have 16 guys on our rosters. on a team that is probably going to be preseason ranked top 3 or 4. There's more than enough here to be good, but we play in 6 days. Like, in 6 days, we go see a public school 4A team on the road. I know it's a scrimmage, but the scoreboard's going to be on. The lights are going to be on. Referees will be there. You'll know what the score is after the game. Now, in the grand scheme of things, does the score matter? No, but our performance does. Okay? Because you're playing that scrimmage not for me, not for the rankings, the record. You're playing that game honestly to prove to yourself and prove to your teammates what you can do to help the team. Our team may not be able to come back from 4 really bad performances next week from a mental standpoint. Because if we go out there and all of a sudden we get boat raced by Ridgeview, we get boat raced by R&E, we get boat raced by Christchurch, we get boat raced by Porter-Gaud, all of a sudden we're going to start looking around saying, why have we been telling everybody that we're good? Why is everybody telling us that they expect us to make this kind of run? At a certain point, you gotta understand everything plays into itself, and everything has a purpose that's a little bit bigger than what you see superficially. Superficially, if you go beat Ridgeview, it's a scrimmage win. No one, again, rankings, record doesn't matter. But all of a sudden, people start looking at you like, oh, Heathwood? Beat who? Oh, Heathwood put together a performance? And that's the conversation you guys will start having internally without even knowing. You'll start thinking, wow, we might be okay. We are going to struggle if we're questioning how good we have a chance to be all year long, and that starts off in the first week of the season where we go through 4 scrimmages and we don't play to our level. You might play great next week and get beat 4 times. I can live with that. I can't live with us going 4-0 and having no idea what we're good at, and we just beat 4 teams because it was our day. Like, that effort level is one thing. The soccer, it's not supposed to be great. We've practiced 6 times now. It's not supposed to be great. But the effort is, because that was the non-negotiable piece that we talked about at the beginning of the season. Bailey, I've been coaching you since you were 12, 11. Charlie, same age. Nayland, about the same age. Like, guys, in May, I'm done being your soccer coach. Like, I will not get to coach you again. Like, I can see the end of the road for us. Like, we've been on this journey, and the destination point is arriving, and I see it, and it's coming. And it's coming a lot faster than you think it is. I would love to be able to end that journey with you guys, where at least we can look at each other, whether we're getting a trophy or not, and just say, you know what? We gave it our best shot. We feel good about what we did. I can close the book on this knowing we did everything we did.
The first few practices have gone, they've been mediocre so far. Some players are doing really well, some are not trying as much. So there's a bit of a disconnect there. That's kind of making some of the practices and certain points of the practices much harder.
We don't get that day back. We don't get it back. It's gone. It's gone now. Y'all cool with that? Like, it's 5:30. We're done. We're done. Because you guys really need to think about this. Like, it really needs to sit on you a little bit, understanding today was a wasted day. And I'll be honest, we talked about it. I could high energy and yell and run you back into a decent session today, but that doesn't, I'm not helping your development as a young man if I let you do that. Because the same thing I told them, I can't be your crutch this season. I can't be the one that fixes every time something goes wrong. You need to learn from a bad day. That's what we're going to do today. Does everybody understand where I'm coming from?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's bring it up. Let's clean it up. Tomorrow, new start. Everybody got it?
this one, so I can practice my how do you say that? Yeah, my weak side.
We're building young men, and if I just coach soccer players, I'm not being myself. I'm not being the coach that I had, which was someone who, invested into who Andrew Richardson was more than who number 10 was. We started practice off today, and there's some little things that go on every single day that our kids know about, and they didn't handle their business. And I mean little things. I mean making sure all the gear's out and separated and organized and ready to go. Making sure where we're gonna do our dynamic warm up is arranged and ready so that at 4:15 we can just hit the ground running. And I felt like we were taking some of those things for granted. And as the session wore on, we were doing that in training. And soccer is a really unique sport where I can't take a timeout in the middle of a game if things aren't going well. I can't run plays. I can't do much outside of provide some encouragement and make substitutions, which I think speaks, very clearly about how people become adults. Like once you get into the real world, your parent who calls a school after you didn't get a test grade you wanted, like they can't call your employer. They can't call your wife when she's upset with you. Like I'm responsible at a certain point to teach them some life lessons. And some of those life lessons include like, hey, whenever there are mistakes, like you have to live with that mistake and you have to own that mistake and you have to man up to that and figure out how you get better. And I realized from a soccer standpoint, as a staff, we definitely could have salvaged the practice. We could have provided the energy and the leadership, but I'm not teaching them any lessons at that point. Like I'm not helping them get better. They're not growing as people. So I needed them to understand like, yeah, this might be my last year, but I'm still going to coach this year. I'm still going to make sure they get all the lessons that they're supposed to get. They'll learn a lot more from having something taken away today that they, at least say they care about, more than they would have gotten out of me just kind of going through the motions or doing it for them. Because in 3 months when we have a region game on this field, I can't do it for them. If we have to go on the road in the playoffs, I can't do it for them. They're going to have to depend upon themselves. And the best lesson they could learn to help them get better at that was to not practice today. Today was kind of a loss. Like every day, I'm a firm believer that, you either get better or you get worse. Things don't stay the same. And that's pretty much every day. Today, we probably did not get better. And I think the ability to acknowledge that and want to embrace that instead of run from that can actually make it a pretty positive day. So at the end of it, we're 6 days away from a scrimmage and we got about a 45-minute session in. It's not ideal, but if we got a lesson today that's going to make us better in the long run, I can live with it. When we gauge success, which is about 4 or 5 years after they graduate, honestly, then the players we got have turned into good men, good employees, employers, boyfriends, husbands, fathers, whatever it is. That's kind of what we've hung our hat on, and I feel pretty good about what we've done over these first 11 years.